Oh, hi there. Didn't see ya. That was very cringy. I apologize right now for that. Welcome back to another video. So I thought it would be fun if we could take a quick trip to a bookstore, because that's what I always do, and I'm bored today. So I am going to a place called The Novel Neighbor. Now, it's not that close to my house, but it's a really cute independent bookstore, and they have a lot of cute stuff. Of course, I love going to Barnes & Noble just because of how many books are there. But at this bookstore, they do have a lot of just new releases. They have a really wide range of genres available, and they also have a lot of cute, like, bookish merch. So we'll see. I'm just gonna go and see what they got. And of course, I really wanted to take you guys along with me, and we'll see what I come back with. So buckle up. And let's go to The Novel Neighbor. Wanted to talk about The Novel Neighbor. I just have to say, The Novel Neighbor, it's such a cute independent bookstore. Like, it's small, but like when you're inside it feels huge. But just the way The Novel Neighbor is set up, it's very straightforward. So like right when you walk in, it has all the new release fiction and nonfiction books like right up off the bat, as most bookstores do, because they want to sell the newer stuff first, or they want to get it out or show that they have it. And they also had like a lot of cute journals. I was really tempted to get one because I kind of want to start doing like a book journal eventually, but I couldn't settle on one, and I want to like absolutely love it. And I also want to make sure that book journaling is something that I can commit to, and I don't know if I'm there quite yet. Hopefully one day I am. But as you walk in, there's the checkout counter off to the side, and every single time I've gone to The Novel Neighbor, one of the workers, I feel like it's the same workers every time because it's, like I said, it's a small independent bookstore, but one of the workers always greets you. They'll always say, "Hi, can I help you find anything?" Which I think is really nice and helpful, just because if I know I'm going to a bookstore and there's like one specific thing I need, or if I'm trying to buy a gift for someone that loves books, then I can just ask them right off the bat, and then they know exactly where it's at in their store. But as you walk through, they have different sections, like little nooks and crannies of different things, like different categories of things. They had like a whole, like, it looked like a mini kitchenette area, and it had like a bunch of different teas and coffee mugs and just all things book related that have to do with the kitchen, which I thought that was so clever that that's how that they did all that. and they have a section that's all of their classical fiction or nonfiction, and it's all together, and they have like special editions, and they'll like place them on the shelf. Like they'll have their own shelf for each like author who's a classic novelist, and which is so convenient for me because I'll show this in a little bit. One of the books I bought was a classic, or one of the classics that I'm slowly trying to collect all the different classics and get different editions of different ones. So I just have like a Mod Podge of everything. But I love that they have it that way, so that way you can see different types of that same book. And you know, obviously I judge books by their cover, you know, whatever. But I just like that you have that kind of that choice, and you can see all your options just right there on one shelf. It just makes it so much more convenient. And then you keep walking through, and then it goes back into the main book area section that has like all the different genres kind of labeled, and I'm sure you saw in some of the clips, but I just love it. I must say it is kind of hard to go through some of the aisles because it's a little bit tighter, especially if there's multiple people in one aisle. It can get a little frustrating or annoying because sometimes you feel like you're in the way or they're in your way, and it's just kind of this like weird dance where you're waiting for the other person to move. It's kind of like a showdown, but I really enjoy it. Like there's so much there. And they have different copies, like if you want a paperback, or they'll have the hardcover like right next to each other on a shelf. It just, the way they laid everything out in their store was just excellent. And I love that they had so much bookish merch in there as well. And I think that it's just such a fun place to go, especially if you're not a big reader and you know someone who is. You can just go there and find like a tote bag or a magnet or, you know, a sticker or just like whatever. There's so many different bookish themed merch that you could buy, and most likely that person who loves reading will love what you got them because it has to do with books. So I do want to go through some of the things that I bought. I bought 3 books, and I did get a few like bookish merch as well, and I just want to go through what I got and show you everything. I'm really happy with how this trip turned out. I thought maybe I'd get like 1 or 2 things, but I actually came out with like 5, maybe 6 things. So the first thing that I bought that I kind of mentioned already was Sherlock Holmes and Mr. Hyde. Now I found this in their classic section, which I already explained, but I just love this book. I love that it's hardcover and it's this really pretty yellow, and I was like looking through it, and I just feel like this is the type of book, like I'm trying to slowly work my way through the classics just so I can be that person who says, I've read all the classics, but I feel like this is one that I definitely would read. I love Sherlock Holmes. I've seen the movie. Is there a couple movies, like different movie adaptations? But I really enjoyed it, and I saw the one with Robert Downey Jr. He was Sherlock Holmes in it, so whatever adaptation that was. But I really enjoyed it, and I just am really excited to read this. To me, the way it looks when I like open it, it kind of reminds me of just like a kid's book. Even though I know it's not, but it feels like something I could read to my kids at night, like read them a chapter before they go to bed in the future. And I just love the look of it. It's so pretty, and I can't wait to add it to my classics shelf. I think it's just going to be a nice little addition. And they had a few other editions as well, but I really liked this one because it was hardcover and the other edition was huge. And I want to make sure that all my copies are like similar in size, even though I'm trying to do like a Mod Podge, but I still think that it'll look nicer if I keep it smaller and not bigger. The next book I got, I'm really excited about this one. So I got Business or Pleasure by Rachel Lynn Solomon. Now I got this book because she's the author of The X Talk, which I own and I've read, and I actually really liked that. It was very rom-com-y and it was really cute, and I was really excited when I heard that she was coming out with another one. Now I know that this one, it's about a girl who is a ghostwriter, and she kind of like hits her rock bottom, or she gets like fed up with the life she's leading because she goes to like a book signing for the book she ghost wrote for, and the author doesn't even know who she is or recognizes her. So it's kind of like this moment where she's like, what am I doing with my life? How did I get here? And it ends up with her going to a bar and meeting this handsome stranger, and one thing leads to another, and obviously they hook up. And apparently this whole one-night stand, it's not very memorable for her. It's not great for her, but she ends up ghostwriting for this actor named Finn, and it turns out he is the mysterious stranger who she met at the bar and hooked up with. So she admits to him, hey, or one night was not exciting for me. And so then he kind of makes it his mission that while she's ghostwriting for him, I guess it's a memoir, while she's ghostwriting his memoir, he is going to try to please her. And I guess make up for the fact that he did not do a great job with their one night together. So I don't know, it just sounded like a really funny rom-com. I'm hoping that it's not too detailed or graphic. I feel like, especially with the way it sounds on the back of this book, that it's gonna involve a lot of them hooking up, and I'm hoping they just kind of gloss through it because I want to see more like their relationship and how they end up kind of falling for each other, which obviously they will. Yeah, so I just thought it'd be really funny. I kind of wanted to grab a rom-com or just like an easier read, and this one I saw and I had to get it. So, and the next book that I picked up, this is one I've actually never seen or heard anyone talk about before, and I'm really hoping that it's maybe a newer release and that's why that happened, but it is called The Wild Hunt by Emma Seckel, and I'm so excited about this book. When I read the back, it immediately drew me in. So like the first like 2 sentences, it says, the Islanders have only 3 rules. Don't stick your nose where it's not wanted, don't mention the war, and never let your guard down during October. So I'm just super pumped about this book. So it's about a girl who it comes back to the island for her dad's funeral, and when she's there's some like weird stuff that starts happening on the island, and there's this guy who is a widower and he was in the war, and so he's having some like trauma, some like PTSD from all of that, and somehow they come together, and because there's these things on the island, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce it because I'm not gonna try to pronounce it, I'm just gonna embarrass myself, but there's these weird bird-like creatures that are on the island, and there's more and more as the years go on after the war, and someone ends up dead. Yeah, a young man disappears. And so the 2 people in this book, they end up getting thrown together, and they're trying to figure out what's going on and like what's happening with this island, and I guess why these creatures are kind of taking over. And it just sounds really good. It just sounds so intriguing to me. Kind of dark and twisted. This was under the sci-fi fantasy section in the Novel Neighbor. When I picked it up, I immediately was like, oh, I think I need to buy this because it just sounds so cool. And I've heard literally no one talk about it, but I will. So this is exactly what you all wanted anyways, right? And then there were a few bookish merch items that I bought as well. Now, some of these things I've thought I might keep them or I could gift them, but I feel like I'm gonna end up keeping them because they're all just so fun. The first thing I got was a magnet that says awesome people read books. I saw this and it was just like hanging up on the wall, and I was just like, sounds like my kind of magnet. I think it's just really funny. Like, I barely have any friends who read, so if I had this hanging up, I feel like in my house, I don't know, I just think it's gonna be funny. The next thing I got was a little book pin. I actually collect pins. I try to get them if I go somewhere on vacation or something like that. I try to buy a little pin because I do attach them to like one of my purses. And this one says, it's lit. Is that not the greatest book pin you've ever seen? And last but not least, I did get a sticker. I've been slowly collecting stickers and adding them to my laptop case. And I saw this one, and I'm actually really trying to search and hunt down one of these, like an old, it doesn't have to work, but just to have like as a decorative piece. I really want to get a typewriter, and I saw this really cool vintage sticker of a typewriter, and it just has so much detail to it. So I really wanted to get it, but yeah, eventually I hope I can find one, maybe on like Facebook Marketplace, or I don't know, a lot of antique stores. I feel like when you go upstairs in their like attic room that feels haunted, but I guess it's not. I feel like I've seen old typewriters in there before, and I really want to get one in the future whenever I have room and space, and if I can get like a bigger bookshelf. I would love to have like an old typewriter like sitting on the bookshelf because I just think that'd be amazing. But anyways, I saw this and I said, you're coming home with me. So, and that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I really like going to independent bookstores. I know most people do because it just has such unique stuff. And yes, it is a little bit more expensive, but you need to support these small independent bookstores because they're out here living their life, honestly living the dream life, owning a bookstore. I would absolutely love to own a bookstore and have like a little coffee shop inside or something, but alas, it's not in the cards, sadly. But please support your local independent bookstores because they are doing their best and they're doing a great job. And they're honestly some of the kindest people I've met. I've had so many good conversations with the owners of these stores because they're big readers. They love to read. And whenever you can meet someone who's also a reader and who loves books, it's just so much fun to talk to them and get their thoughts on things and hear who their favorite authors are and all that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.